Well, however, it's me, Solid,
I've read almost every novel
in
from
a
my
bit of an
publishing
unexpected
house.
environment.
Pretty normal,
Hold
right?
on. Okay. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. We're gonna go to my inventory for a second. But yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to, welcome to the new, video. Yeah, so I have Genshin Impact pulled up here, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's the biggest secret held on to life, but it has been a secret that I've held on to for a little bit, nearly 3 to 4 months, give or take. Um, and essentially, to break things down simply enough, is that I have been essentially playing this to play test the game, see how it has been compared to when I first started this game, as well as kind of to um see my experience overall, and possibly get characters that I've been wanting for quite a while now, essentially. And realistically, it has gone decently well. Um, However, it always has its caveats. And among them is realistically how much time I had to spend on this game, and it really hasn't felt quite as good, to be honest with you. Specifically because it is so oriented on me playing every single day that it is basically impossible for me to take like a proper break, I would say. Um, and so this game has actually been a couple of reasons why I've necessarily I haven't quite gotten so much done outside of gaming, and it is it is particularly one reason that I sometimes kind of miss out on a couple of things, right? But yeah, no. Pardon me for taking a couple of breaks in here between. Having to drink some water. It's a little bit. I'm a little bit. My throat's a little bit dry. But yeah, no. In essence, I have actually been playing this game for 3 or 4 months. Um, a little bit in secret. And not so much to kind of showcase my progress, but it has been kind of like a long journey. And is not necessarily without reason. And I kind of wanted to bring this up a little bit because I have gotten stuck a little bit in between playing the game and seeing what I can do, essentially, right? But yeah, no. So I have been playing this game for quite a while, and I have been struggling to do a bunch of different things in the game as it stands, and it's mostly trying not to break my sanity among them, because it's just really that attention heavy is how I describe this game. And again, there's obvious games that just kind of have really bad systems involved. The exploration in this game is what I would consider um, forcing it on you. To be honest with you. Um, Especially with a lot of the FOMO prospects that they have in this game. I don't necessarily have so many screenshots of it, but I will show you at least a case where they essentially make you do a bunch of quests in order to make sure that you're engaged in the game. Um, and honestly, the timelines on a lot of the events are pretty shit. Um, a lot of them have different times that are really inconsistent that they kind of build up on you. For example, they have this one. This is the specific one that I have been. It's similar to, but not exactly the same. It's not the same as the one that kind of you get introduced to into the game, essentially. And the reason I kind of show this one off is because it has to do with exploration in the game. And it's not so much an issue to explore, but the limitations on how long you can actually take to do these quests is really a mixed bag, realistically. And it's really funny to me, because if you don't come back at like an opportunistic time, they end up kind of uh, like essentially it is kind of like a what I would consider a time creep. Um, in this game, and it is relatively bad because you have to explore quite a lot of areas in the map to quote unquote complete this progress. And as it stands, doing passively for for most of these ones. For example, this one, right? Complete the objective before the deadline ends in 20 days. This one has been going for a little bit over, it's like a little over like 2 months ish, little bit less than a month or so. And I got 20 days left, which is fine. However, when you start the game, or when you come back, which is what I did, right? Because I already had an account. And I was like, yeah, let me just come back. I have an account. I have a couple characters. Maybe I can like start a little bit, do like a little bit like a flash playthrough, right? And essentially, it was a bad experience to come back as a player. And it's nothing super like crazy to really play the game. I didn't necessarily get any like new characters, any old ones. There really wasn't much for me to get, and that might have just been when I came back. And to give you kind of like a timeline, I came a few weeks before the Xilonen banner was gone. I came back 2 weeks before the banner was gone for Xilonen. I can't quite remember when exactly I came back, but that's kind of where I kind of came back essentially. Right? And originally, what I did is I logged in, I summoned, and I got characters. And essentially, the goal was to let me see if I can get this character because that's what I really wanted. So when I came back, I was forced to basically play for 2 straight weeks of nothing but basically Genshin. Um, and the reason behind it is because I didn't necessarily play so much that I actually didn't have any like resources. But the problem is that there's so much stuff that you need to guarantee a character that um, the return bonuses it aren't good enough to give you like a character is the problem. And again, it's one of those issues that if you're a comeback player, I think they should increase the rewards, not necessarily so much that you can like just simply go without like playing the game at all, but it would be nice given the fact that I really didn't play for like what is essentially over 2 years, 2 to 3 years, like really properly. Um, and so I came back, right, and I got my login like comeback bonus or whatever, but that was one of the worst comeback bonuses that there was. Some of the events that they had in there, I couldn't actually complete. I got like 20 to 30% of maybe 40% of it, like the extra rewards of that event overall, and that's because I couldn't complete much more than that. So my experience when I came back was pretty fucking terrible. And playing with it was kind of just really bad. Not to mention that I lost on 50-50. I had and here's the funniest part. I got the character early. I thought because I had already gotten Mia. I pulled 20 pulls or whatever, and I got a character early. And I thought, man, I'm done. I can just play the game and whatever and move on. But that wasn't the case. What ended up happening in actuality is I got Dehya, which is a bit out of date at this point, and not the character I wanted. It's not a bad character because I didn't have her. And I will certainly build her when I have the desire to build another character. That's not my main party, so it's going to be a while. But I persevered somehow, and I got fucking lucky. Is what ended up happening. So I have video, and I don't necessarily have it up in here, mainly because I just kind of left it downstairs still. I haven't actually gone, and it's been, I recorded this a couple of times at this point, and it's primarily because I think I've been yapping too much on some of them. And so, after coming back, after playing this game,
Watch out!
and please, I don't know why their audio cinematics are so long. We're actually going to move to Kachina because I think hers are pretty simplistic. But essentially, after coming back, I kind of had to build kind of a couple teams, right? So let me actually kind of guide you through my teams, and it kind of varies a little bit because this is my current main party. This is the one that I've been kind of using for a little bit of like a couple of days at this point, mostly because I've just been. I literally was. I shit you not. I pulled for memes to see if I can get Diona C6. Didn't get her, and I got Citlali instead, which I'm kind of really happy about. But put something on the side. Nope, that's not it. So we got these characters, and we have a couple of characters here. And essentially, this was one of my main parties to clear some of the difficulty boss events. And it's mostly because I kept dying. And a lot of people, I know, and I know people will talk about this, and I know people um, don't really like, not so much not mention it, but it is a very, very, very big issue. To play the game and kind of be absolutely wrecked by game mechanics that they introduced. And it is not fun. It is not something that I think is really quite so fair. But essentially, I came back and I struggled to play some of the mechanics in this game. Specifically with this shithead, the Rift Hounds. Um, these pieces of shit, and I know most people already don't even think about this because they have Zhong Li Shield or Kokomi, the people that actually summon them, or just they don't even care about it because they have Farina. Um, which kudos for you, but this is a terrible, I mean, an absolutely terrible, mechanic. Like, it is so bad. The fact is, I had to clutch on Chi Chi because she's the only character that could actually heal the entire party. I have genuinely no clue why these guys do like percent bleed through your entire party because you got hit, and it is super difficult to heal, like at all. Like it is so hard to heal in this game. And like I understand from like a kind of like a player's perspective, like well you shouldn't be able to like clear everything. Yeah, but it shouldn't be like so detrimental. I can't even play the goddamn story because that's what almost ended up happening. I nearly died 3 to 4 different occasions. During one of the world quests that essentially had me fighting with my little dinosaur and like a giant big dog and whatever. If you know that quest, kudos for you. I don't really care. Whenever I was going to another world quest, when I was trying to clear the whatchamacallit, and I still haven't cleared to be honest with you. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, when I was trying to clear, it's in Inazuma, right? When I was trying to clear or just simply being able to go into this island, the Surumi Island. When I was trying to go here, it was definitely difficult, and I couldn't really do much. I still can't really do much. I definitely think it's a little bit more clear than the extra showcases. I'm not sure what's showing it like this. But that is very peculiar. But setting that aside, that's kind of where I've had a couple of issues with the game. And again, like these are just kind of like game mechanics that I think are kind of just straight up not friendly for players. And honestly, the fact that GG came in clutch is the craziest thing to me. Because most people will kind of like, I think like most people kind of joke about who did you lose your 50-50, and it's like Chi Chi, you lost to Chi Chi. It's like the boogeyman of like Genshin whenever you're like getting close or whatever. But to me, she saved my gameplay like my game like a lot of times. The only reason I couldn't actually use her is because she was genuinely difficult to build and is still probably more obnoxious than shit to build because this is probably one of the worst items to farm. And like what I've kind of had to do at this one is to kind of go into my little teacup and farm and just farm what I can on this one. And again, I kind of heard about this one recently, and like I knew about it through like by barely understanding it. Again, I've got the farms. I got like these ones. I got like this one's farming and stuff. These ones are growing or whatever. And that's kind of the only way I can really think of playing the game. But even to that point, again, it ends up being like a multiplicative effect in difficulty. And what ended up making this worse is that I essentially would like to farm, would start to need to farm like better gear, essentially, right? So the artifact system, right? I absolutely despise this one. I will not really be. Oh, I will be touching upon this a little bit, but essentially to kind of break this down, and the artifact system is probably to me one of the most time-consuming things in this game, and they're also one of the most beneficial and most like pivotal, some of the most important things in this game. They are by far one of the things you'll actually find out that if you don't actually invest in that, you will actually lose out on nearly double to triple the survivability of your character. And not even just that, survivability and damage output. It is actually so insane how much damage output you can actually get from the gear that I find it almost detrimental, and that like levels don't really do much unless you're going from like from level 1 to maybe 60s, kind of where like I see the biggest jump, and then it starts to slowly decrease. Obviously you'll die if you don't have like the characters leveled up, but around level 60 to 70 is when kind of the characters are fine to go into most stages. It really doesn't really matter too much. At level 80, I can take them through most locations. Level 70, they're usable in like AR 52 or AR 53 or whatever difficulty I have in the world, which I think is level 7. But again, we have like difficulty goes up to level 9, I believe. The maximum will level 9. And what ends up happening is that if you can't really tackle on the correct level, you kind of get stuck. And that's what ended up happening to me, essentially. I might actually see if I lower my volume on these guys. I do not want to hear them at the moment. Dialogue, we're going to lower this to 0. And it's primarily just because I want to not talk over them. But yeah, no, essentially, again, it's really not much of an issue with me personally that I like need to really like have like the most min-max teams in existence, because I definitely can't. I like to do that because to certain, at least quote unquote min-max to the degree that I would like to is the main thing, right? But essentially, right? So like to min-max your characters, right? Is the main thing, right? And when you're playing this game, it already takes months and months and months of time to really use any of your characters, and that's realistically the main issue. It takes months of investment for what feels like a mediocre character at times, and possibly not good enough character. And at this point, I have kind of hit the wall where I need to even out everybody, max them out, and then I need to go fight some of the hardest bosses in the game. Which, by the way, have some of the worst game mechanics that I know, that I've never really tried, and that in order for me to play with other people at a reasonable level, I need to actually go clear through the story, which is fine. Which by the way, you can whatchamacallit, if we go here, you can actually, I believe you can actually go through it without actually going through there directly, so you don't actually need to clear any of the story. You can kind of just clear this. I don't have the workshop for this one. I can click on this one, and I can kind of start a match or whatever, which is fine. Now the real problem begins when you're trying to do this fight on your own, and you don't have a ball character. I've had this happen a couple of times, and I kind of get screwed. Another funny, and I mean really funny thing to me that I think is super hilarious that people don't really talk about it nor have that much of an issue, and I personally think it's primarily because most people already have this and ignore it. If you're trying to level up some of your older characters, you're going to have an issue which is called elemental immunities, which again, I personally find those mechanics a little bit annoying. Some people find elemental resistance annoying. However, let me tell you something. Elemental resistances are one thing, but as somebody that understands, if something is immune to a damage type, it renders the characters entirely worthless. It makes absolutely no sense to me that this is still a mechanic. And granted, these are older bosses. However, the fact that I've struggled to fight some of these older ones makes me kind of surprised. Um, Granted, that's not necessarily like the only thing you have to kind of rely upon, but it is also something you kind of have to watch out for. Like, take for example, some of the Geo Hypostasis. I was kind of leveling up. I was trying to level up Xilonen, right? And upon trying to level her up, I kind of ran into this one, and I ran into a little bit of an issue. Um, when you're trying to get the little topazes and the gemstones, um, it's not so much of an issue about whether I can farm this or not. It is an issue of some of the boss mechanics being actual horseshit and being really difficult to kind of deal with. And again, they're not nothing complicated. You just need specifically like take for example in this one you need a claymore user, or you at the very least need somebody that has like I think it's like a fast geo character is like the main thing, but realistically you need a claymore user. At this point, I think I could probably clear it with Mavuika just on her own because she's a claymore user and she's one of my strongest characters. No, actually, she is my strongest character in the game. Um, but the problem kind of continues on and on and on because uh, going from level one, going from like what I would think is like level 35, I made it to AR 52 or AR 53, which again not the biggest deal. It's fine. It's whatever. Next up, I like let's put it into perspective, right? I come in, I try to fight enemies. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I play them. It's not difficult. Again, it's really nothing hard. Um, it's mostly a team combination, and I kind of had to throw away anything that I kind of was like really just trying to have fun with my characters, right? I should talk to you specifically about Xiangling, right? So she was one of my first characters that kind of used up. She was my main for quite a while. Um, for people that absolutely hate her, I'm sorry. I like her. As a person that likes food and enjoys like just characters that have culinary stuff and things. She was kind of like my go-to, like culinary chef. I like myself a bit of a chef. Um, so finding this out was kind of a little bit detrimental. And let me tell you specifically why. So if we actually go to her switch weapons, I'm going to show you what I originally had on her, which was the dragon spine spear. Which this isn't necessarily like the worst weapon, especially if there's like different characters in your team. This is definitely a bit of an issue when you kind of going up and up and like the things and whatever. But let me actually tell you specifically. So this is the weapon that I first started with. It was shit. It was actual horseshit. Specifically because there is so many things that using that. How do I put it? The entire system in Genshin uses elemental reactions to overcome a lot of difficulties. Unless you're somebody like, from my understanding, Eula, which is specifically a physical DPS. you cannot, and I mean you cannot really rely on a DPS Shangling if you want to get further into content. And while I understand that there's like optimal ways to kind of build up characters, if you're trying to use a character in like in a acceptable way, or what I consider usable and not want to blow your brains out kind of way, don't do physical comps because they shit. They are actually shit. And I kind of had to learn through that because I personally had to go through what I call the elemental hell, which is whenever characters simply cause reactions and kill me really fast. I don't know if it's Valid Remembrance, but I think it's one of these ones. I think it's this one. So, take for example the Valid Remembrance. When I was trying to attempt to farm for my healer, my healer's items, I kind of ran into this one, and I was like, okay, let's see if we could do this one. And surprise, surprise, yes you can, but you're gonna die. Half your characters are gonna die, and you're gonna have to go heal them back up every single time. Now, I understand that that it is not necessarily the most optimal to kind of go to your highest world level and then like move on from there. However, in my defense, I did, and I'm better. I just am that better. Like I'm that good. I never went back down. I am not a bitch, and I did not necessarily complain so much about that one. However, I kind of came to understand that elemental reactions are so rudimentarily overpowered that there's legitimately no reason to not use them. Now, the problem that comes about using elemental reactions, like most things, is that they're so overpowered that there's nothing else you can really or should do. Because if you do anything alternatively, which, by the way, when I first got Mavuika, that's kind of how I kind of figured that one out for sure. I mean, I had to essentially kind of figure out how to min-max her damage, and I've actually finally managed to hit the highest damage on her, which is approximately, from what I understand, either 184,000 or 134,000 in a consistent manner, which, again, is still suboptimal, in my opinion. I have seen people that have hit 1 million with her, and I don't know if that's with the weapon or not, whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, she works, and she's doing well. My complaint, it's not so much of a complaint as it is kind of like learning to play this game is again, one of those things that you kind of, over time, you kind of get beaten up. Like, you absolutely get the shit beaten out of you if you're using the wrong thing. It's especially prevalent if you're trying to go to new locations, such as Natlan, which is where I essentially had my super training arc, because I really originally was more used to Levis shit, which is genuinely the most brain dead mobs in the entire game. And it's specifically because these ones have no real mechanics other than the Geo Bishop. There's like a little fucking little Earth Dragon thing that is like an obnoxiously tanky as shit. And the Geo's Lounge, because there's half my team is just Geo characters. So I wasn't able to do damage unless I just kind of hit them normally with this attacks. Which again, not very well. I understand that these characters suck dick if you use them with physical. So I had to basically not so much skip as it is just kind of ignore a lot of the Earth characters when I could, because otherwise I would lose my goddamn shit. And even now, the fact that I actually managed to get Xilonen up to the point that she's 90, she's my only level 90 character in my entire roster. I have got a couple of 80s, a couple of 70s, obviously Shangling and Ymir are level 80. Chi-Chi's level 60 because I refused to fucking go through the deal. Diona was originally going to send her, but I haven't had the time. Bennett can go suck my dick. Not actually. I just hate him. Because that's what everyone and their mom keep recommending to me. And he is so half useless that trying to use him in a team feels like the worst thing in the entire game. And actually, let me do this one so people are happy. Because I know I forgot to do that one, but he is actually officially the most usable he'll ever be. He is the best at his point. I personally thought he was going to be like much worse, but again, he served his purpose. I moved on. Um, um, Personally, what ended up happening is that I needed to use Natline characters, particularly because they're so goddamn strong. I kind of didn't really care about gameplay. Which, mind you, my computer's kind of bugging out a little bit. Probably for a second. Alright, my computer's still bugging out. But yeah, no, essentially, back to the topic, right? So it is useless to use anybody else. It does not help that most of the characters in this game, at least currently, some of the newer characters, which obviously are the ones I wanted, right? Needed to be an admin, so I had to go through like understanding a lot of the game mechanics from this, and then kind of here and there just kind of either ignore the mechanics from this ones or kind of dive into some of the most brain dead, just stupid mechanics where you essentially have to swap out to a healer because this shithead does not have a need to do that much fucking bleed. But right. Essentially, right. You ran into an issue. Hold on a minute. Alright. So, yeah, you kind of run into an issue where you kind of deal with certain game mechanics that are just kind of bullshit, or better yet, some of the game mechanics that I think I found the most genuinely kind of weird. Was actually, let me show you specifically, right? So, there's this game mechanic, specifically this one, that you kind of run into because obviously you do. We're gonna go this, and we're gonna do this. This is fine. Then we're gonna go this, and we're gonna just kind of let me see if I can actually speed this up a little bit. Right. So right now. So right now the boss is turning into kind of like its secondary phase, and then he kind of has these pillars up, and essentially, we're gonna pause it right here. Essentially, those pillars right there, what they end up causing is that you need to hit the top of them, right? So we're gonna hit the top of these next, and the only way to climb these is with a character from the Children of the Echo Tribe. And after you do that, it's essentially repeat, and then the reasoning you want to do that is because otherwise this shithead has like 80% damage reduction. And let me actually double check on this. Let's quest. It is said to be production and Asian machine used to be manufactured. Said to production. Yep. We're actually gonna go into archive right here. We're gonna living beings. Oh, quote unquote living beings. Automatons. This one. Is this one it? I think this is it. Secret Sword Automaton Configuration Device. So this one specifically, what it has is that this one essentially has, again, it has multiple different stages. You can fight him, and what ends up happening is he has so much resistance that it is not actually fun to fight him. Right now he's down, so we're actually going to show you the damage before and after, right? So we have 6,000. And then after he comes back up, you can tell my damage was reduced by around 75%. Which is really not that much compared to, I think, but like it is a little, it is quite a bit of resistance increase, especially for something that I just think should be much simpler. But we have this guy, right? which is totally a understandable boss to have. That's actually a little bit easier than anything, especially since you deals with something called true damage, which I think at the same time is also kind of bullshit. But next we kind of run into this guy, right? So let me actually showcase you what is one of my biggest pet peeves with this thing. Which again, obviously there are better things you can do than just kind of running with this one, especially when half your party is basically dead. So I'm actually gonna showcase you what I've been essentially farming for the past 2 to 3 months, give or take. And it has been some of the most annoying stuff in the game. And actually, I will actually be trying this one a little bit for it. I will not actually be claiming the stamina because I just do not want to claim it because I think it's shit. We're actually gonna try this one first. But I want to show you what mess they kind of bring you into, right? So the entire mechanic of this entire stage, which again is what you're gonna be farming. This is the only artifact realm you're gonna need to be farming. This is the only artifact stage that you need to be farming. Which, while nice, is really which again, well, very nice. It really doesn't really do much of anything. At this point, again, my party does more damage than before. But the entire concept of these ones is you're supposed to do, again, reactions with this one, which again is pretty simplistic. However, one of the main issues that I personally ran into with this one is that it's not this guy's not so much of an issue. We're gonna this girl right here, right? So my main issue with her is that she used to essentially just clever bash you if I had like, yep, we have this one. That used to essentially kill me, like pretty fast. And not only that, it used to essentially, since I basically had no pyro reaction, I basically had no way to kill her. Since I really didn't do that much damage until now. So after kind of managing to kind of kill her, you kind of move on, and then let's actually turn this out. Let's do some kind of bullshit on that, and then yep, you're done. We're gonna leave the realm. We're gonna ignore that, and then we're actually gonna move on to a new issue because that is at this point completely easier to me than whatever actual horseshit the next one is. So this one's again level 80. When I first got this one, the level difference is really insane. They don't actually give you any perks unless you're kind of like level 80. You can essentially bullshit your way through most of these game mechanics. You can honestly, as long as you have like a pyro reaction that kind of triggers from either water or realistically crystallize or anything, you kind of end up with like some of the easiest artifact like domains that you have in this entire thing. Which again, not necessarily difficult. However, it does kind of help out if you're trying to kill something and it's taking you a goddamn eternity. At this point, I don't really necessarily have to rely so much on this, as my characters actually deal more damage now than what is called the true damage, which I call the ley line disorders or whatever. And you have to specifically trigger this from pyro reactions, which, by the way, again, I have Shang Ling to kind of clutch for that because there's half my party is like, let's see. So we're actually gonna kind of differentiate this with pyro, and then let's see. So not useful because he doesn't actually essentially proc pyro that much. Can't really tell. Don't know. I don't have leveled up. We don't even talk about Amber. She kind of had her place in time in my history, so she's fine. She's kind of chilling. Dehya, not leveled up. Can't even bother with her. Hate up as well, by the way. Shang Ling, only character that's acceptable to me that has like a reasonable amount of pyro reaction. Joimiya, acceptable. Damage, not very good at pyro reactions, especially since I shouldn't use her on field because she ends up dying a lot. She was actually one of the main things holding me back when I was using kind of these parties. They were kind of killing me a lot. And now again, a power traveler is kind of decent, um, assuming. By the way, let me actually tell you a little secret. He's kind of shit as well. Um, the reason behind why he's shit is because his entire constellations, which again, some of the most cinematic way to unlock a constellation in the game. However, if you would do me the favor of reading the first part, when opposing the Lord of Eroded Primal Fire incarnated by whatever the hell this is, go see. Let's go with go see. Yep. You kind of have every single constellation, kind of at least the good one, right? So there's essentially two types of constellations for the Pyro Traveler, which apparently one you unlock by Kachina or doing whatever. I still haven't unlocked them because I was very disappointed when I found it out, so I didn't even bother. Especially after figuring out that the only reason you kind of would use this guy is assuming, which by the way, he is stupidly strong. Like, stupidly strong for him to be half useful. I'm especially fucking, like, this piece of shit. Like, this works on the weekly boss, which is one of the most annoying bosses in the game, I think, personally. But he and I will, and I'm gonna read what it says, and if you think I'm wrong, you tell me. When opposing the Primal Lord Fire, Fire Incarnated, after using the Elemental Burst, so this is your ultimate, Plane Scorcher, all nearby party members will restore 40% of their max HP. So what this essentially heals is 40% of your entire roster. Which again, really, really fucking strong in the story. Like, absurdly fucking strong. I was trying to figure out how to not kill myself and like not get myself killed essentially, right? In the story. And that's kind of what they kind of throw at you because they realize that the amount of damage that the fucking boss deals to you is so stupid. Like, genuinely stupid in the story. And mind you, I have not fought him as a weekly boss, but I believe, from watching my brother play this at World Level 9, that if you don't have anything to kill your entire party, you're kind of dead. Which, actual peak gameplay right there, by the way, menu. Peak gameplay. He has everything min-max, and he's still dying to that shit. Mind you, I'm not one to necessarily complain about boss mechanics so much at times, but when you're kind of doing it like that, it does feel a little bit like shitty, especially if the only character that can really use this kind of like Traveler, which again, he's still very strong in that weekly boss, which is really funny to me because outside of it, he can't do anything. Unless you actually unlock his second constellation tree, right? Which is super, super fascinating to me and like really stupid, honestly. Um, but setting that aside, we then kind of come upon the next issue, right? So we're talking about weekly bosses. We're talking about how to level up the artifacts. I struggle with that. Many different boss mechanics that are what I consider a mixture of bullshit and a mixture of just outright unwell thought out or really difficult for people that don't have specific characters. Take, for example, again, one of my personal vendettas is still with this thing, with this bleeding guy, and again, the rift hounds or whatever. They throw them so much in the story that it makes me outright laugh. Thinking that I had to actually deal with that as much as I did. Mind you, it's not so bad if your character's leveled up, but if you're just trying to like clear through the story, which again, their requirements aren't really that high. They're kind of like they peak out at 45. It's whatever. But if you're trying to deal with this boss mechanic, it is basically impossible to kind of deal with it. Like it is not necessarily like the most like end all be all. However, over time, your characters will slowly die. Like my Xilonen, which is by far one of my tankiest characters, which can tank through like so much shit. Like, I will actually show you next up because this is kind of like one of my kind of most baffling moments as to how this is even allowed to have like be like an actual boss difficulty. And I will actually be clearing this properly, mostly because I do need the materials, and I will not be farming this again. But when you play this one, this is the kind of the artifact realm for the specifically her. So we're gonna wait for them to kind of come over here. So we're gonna wait for here, and we're gonna do this. Then if we get hit, whoop, half my health is basically gone. I have to hit ultimate, then we have to hit this. Yeah, and you see what's happening? You see how I keep getting sunlocked? This one. This one. Oh look, damage. Oh look, funny damage. And it's really whatever at this point, because I figured it out. It's called having Xilonen, which by the way, I don't know if you noticed that most of my characters I basically feel like they're dead. Oh look, I took a hit. Citlali's now at half health. Isn't that crazy? Mind you, my annoyance isn't so much with the bosses themselves being difficult, it's how hard they fucking randomly hit my health has have gone. Granted, I'll give you this, she's not built at all. She's not really built. However, in order to build one fucking character, just one, it takes months of time. Oh, look. Bad roll. We're moving on from this one, but again, I've done that enough times that I don't like doing this. I don't like playing this game. I don't like, and like, again, I don't like, and it's nothing that it's not that I don't like playing the game itself. I just don't like playing the artifact game. Like, mind you, these are all shit. They're all shit. I understand that. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't expect them to be doing much of anything, especially her at her level. It doesn't help that her mental mastery is also really, really shitty, which is how she scales. But next, we have other issues, which is one of my strongest characters still loses the same amount of health that she fucking does. And this is by far my weakest character. She does decent damage because realistically, what ends up happening to like in like my personal opinion is you don't need so much healing, especially with this kind of team, right? You don't need so much healing from doing that. At least not currently, and perhaps I will swap it out or whatever. I don't know. I have another set of gear that's like that is kind of just built up around that. It really doesn't matter to me. Like I've got better gear. It's really like again like I've got multiple sets of gears on this one. They're like really built for different things, right? I get like this one right here, right? Energy recharge. That's really good for a kind of like support one. I don't know if I have one for this one specifically, but I know I have like multiple, and I mean like multiple like pieces of gear on this one. And then we have this one, multiple again. I have this one, which are probably helpful on Kachina or whatever, or Xilonen. really doesn't really matter to me. Specifically because I think that you don't need so much. Like defense is one thing you can probably build up to be like really tanky or whatever, and it's not the worst thing because honestly, the level of tankiness these characters have is good enough that uh, I can actually take most of the bullshit that happens from like above really like consistently because again the difference in defense between one character to another is so insane. Like 3,000 defense, which again you still take so much damage from it, and to like 700, it's like so like insane. Like again, there are these obviously these are defense scaling characters, so it kind of makes sense that they're not super tanky. Um, However, like I'm not gonna hold it. Like the damage you take is so different that like any accidental mistakes in that entire run could end up like costing me having to go and heal my character. So, which has happened to me. It is very easy to happen. And again, you kind of have to build up either around energy recharge so you don't actually fuck yourself over, or you have to specifically for Xilonen, you have to actually have her on field more than I really thought about. And again, this is not necessarily the best way to build her. Obviously, I kind of have her on DPS Xilonen is what I have her on. Um, and the reason I have her on DPS Xilonen is because I get about 5,000 healing from her. Which again, you don't need so much healing if you're not really taking damage. That is kind of like one of those things that to me, if you like need healing to this degree, again, Wuthering Wave, for example, and not necessarily like the biggest thing. Obviously, you're not supposed to take damage on a game. You can like dodge and parry and whatever. That is the entire concept. You shouldn't take damage. Um, the problem is that this entire system of fighting is so finicky and so like you're bound to get hit by most things, unless they're like different like boss mechanics. For example, I think there's like some like Natlin legends or whatever that they're called that they kind of introduce into this game. They're essentially like Genshin's attempt at the tactical holograms, but the only difference between this one and those ones is that most people will like experience a level of bullshit unlike seen before. Which again, I don't necessarily have so much of an issue with like having to go with like really tanky characters or really strong characters. It just kind of because those are whatever those have like their mechanics, right? But again, there are certain boss mechanics and a lot of like artifact mechanics that I think are really shitty to play as player. Which again, what ends up happening specifically with like this sort of artifact realm, which um, in my opinion, it's much easier than the other ones, but also really randomly hard. It is obnoxiously randomly hard. And the reason it's randomly hard is because if you accidentally take a little bit more damage than you're supposed to, you have to heal yourself, and then if you don't have it like that, like timed out properly, you end up dying. Which again, not good. It's whatever. But it is one of those things that like balancing between trying to stay alive and trying to be able to do enough damage is really hard to do, especially in this game. Since they literally expect you to take damage. That is not a question. Whatever this was, by the way, these guys, right? These little rock shitheads. The way that they're done is so bad. I would rather do like because you're right. To me, the rotation for this one is like really long because you have to fight two stages of bosses. This one's only one. However, they're so like you can't really dodge anything. They literally expect you to take damage, which again, I don't like. I don't like taking damage. Like if I can't dodge it, what is the point of maybe even having stamina? Just to like mitigate some of the damage? And it's especially heinous, right? Again, I don't have every character built up, and the reason behind it is because it takes so much time and stamina. Oh my god, the fucking stamina. Holy shit, it takes so much stamina to do anything in this game. Like, it is insane how much stamina it takes. And materials. Holy shit, man. Like, it takes so many goddamn materials to level up any character to 90. I have no fucking clue. What, like, why is it this, like, this much? Like, put it like this, right? This would only give me 69, which is a funny number. Is whatever. I had to specifically farm, like, again, XP stuff for these characters, which, again, not the biggest deal. However, I had to do it so much that I kind of missed out on some talent days. So the question is, could I even attempt to do some of the talent kind of like leveling up? And the answer is realistically no. Sometimes you just really gotta ignore it. There really isn't much point on this one to really do much of anything. But let's see, yeah, let's do this one. Right? So we have this one, kind of max it out, then you kind of try and level it up, and then you kind of run into this ones, right? Now, trying to max out any of these characters is not the worst thing. The worst thing is trying to max some of these characters and finding out that in order to next, trying to max out these characters, and then finding out that you gotta go farm a billion of the fucking crystals. Like, these goddamn little crystals, you need so many of them. Like, don't get me wrong, I know there's like a system to exchange them. However, and I'm gonna be sucking who was dick at the moment. Proverbial dick, I mean specifically. The reason behind it is because you can exchange it for free. You can change different like stuff for free. And those ones are not. They're not so much the. I think I would consider them at least they're additional items. I think in Wuthering Waves we have. I think these ones would fall under the. I think these ones would fall under the. Like the heteroized drops or whatever. That's where they would fall under. Which again, these ones absolutely infinitely more time. You can't really farm them, you can't really do them. And if you want to exchange them, right? If you wanna go and like exchange these normally, you have to go to a adventure skills post, or at least you gotta go to a alchemist table, whatever they're called. And in order to actually exchange it, you have to go to here. Crafting bench or whatever. I don't care. Then you have to craft this one or whatever you're gonna try to craft. And then after you have enough, what you then do, I think this one we can actually exchange for the other stuff. Is you like exchange materials? I don't know if that makes any sense. Fascinating. But once you do that, you need to have 27 of these Dust of Azoth, which, again, the only really way to get these is through the Stardust Exchange, and if you're trying to do these ones, again, I've already done 9 this month, I really don't have much of these ones, but if you're trying to max out these ones, again, this is some of the some of the most important materials you have in the game, and this is because this will save a lot of time, but again, the fact that it costs me actual currency exchange points, which some people, including myself, will end up needing to use for my summons for my characters. I have no idea what the point of this is. But essentially, right after farming that, after getting that, you move on, right? You get that, and then you move on. You exchange that, and then you're ready to level up your characters. But guess what? You ran out of money. You ran out of fucking money. Is that right? Is that correct? Now you're telling me that I've done my farming, and I just remembered that I ran out of fucking money because artifacts take 600, like so much goddamn money, man. Like, I'm so tired, man, of farming gold randomly. I got 3 million, but this doesn't last me at all, like, enough time. Like, 120,000 is whatever. It's leveling them up that takes so much fucking money. Not only that, if you're trying to level up one of their artifacts, right? Let's see if we can actually level up one artifact by chance. Let's see if we have anything. Let's see if we can actually set a filter. Now let's do Obsidian Codex. Confirm filter. We're gonna do the damage we can rate. Do we have any of those? No. 5%. Let's try this one, right? That's the defense percent as well. It's kind of nice. Let's try this one. We have the damage crit rate. Yep. Let's try this one, right? Let's try this one, right? So we're gonna enhance this. We're gonna go to the next tier. Nope, still not enough. 1200. It's whatever, right? This is kind of bad. Moving on. So I think that was 15,000, 7,000. Okay, fine. This is really bad piece, actually. We're not actually necessarily going to build up so much. What? What's this? 42 fucking thousand? Are you being for real? 42 fucking thousand gold? What the fuck happened to the 7,000? Again, I'm not one to complain. However, we went from 8,000 gold to 4 times the amount. Like, 42 fucking thousand? Mind you, this gets worse. This is not even it. This is not even the final point. Let's see. Is this one good enough? No, it's also defense. Whatever. It's also not. Attack percent, that's defense percent, that's kind of ass. Nope. Right. Let's do this one, right? So let's actually upgrade this. Attempt to edit. This is attack, defense percent, that's whatever. Let's see what it takes for us to reach the next tier. Ooh. Ain't that something? 100 fucking thousand gold. Ah, man. Mind you, this is a really terrible piece already. This is kind of borked already. I'm not so actually doing this one. I was kind of doing this one to kind of like see if it went anywhere, but it didn't. So I kind of had to move on from that one. Again, this is also really terrible. But do you know what I mean? Like, this is one piece, by the way. This probably costed like what, like, let's assume, let's give it like, let's roll a little while at about 200,000 gold. I don't actually know what the actual statistics are, but 100,000 plus 40,000 plus, because I went from, like, what was it, like, we tried to upgrade this one going through like another 4 levels, right? Is it another 4 levels? So that's 40,000. Let's add another 40,000. So that's 80,000 plus another 100,000. Let's level and say it's 200,000 overall because you have another 8 levels to go before that, right? That's again 200,000 gold lowballing it, or probably around that amount. You have to do that 5 fucking times. 1 million gold. That's 1 million gold per character. And that's assuming they're perfect, and you only have to do that once. Let's see how many have. Right, so no filters, right? So 1, 2, 3, almost 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11. I don't know why this one's not kind of sorted out by level. That's how many we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about 5. That's about just a million. Some easy million there. That's a. Let's just count. Let's just kind of give it like a benefit of the doubt. We'll just count 5 of these ones, right? So that's a million. That's 2 million. That's another 2 million. Let's give it about a million because there's so many of these ones, so many little ones like that. That's another million. So right. So that's 3 million so far. Ooh, that's a rough one, bud. How much is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. About 14. 14 of these ones. So if we divide that by, multiply that by 200,000, right? My calculator. So that's what is 14 by around 200,000 is, right? Which, by the way, they have all been relatively mild. Let's do like 200,000 times 14, right? About 14. 3 million. 3 fucking million gold on just this artifacts. Mind you, this doesn't necessarily repeat so much. This one actually seems to be like my top tier, at least on paper, at least. Let's actually see. Let's see how much it actually ends up being, right? Holy fucking shit! Why the fuck is that so expensive? Let's see what we got. That is cheeks. Actual bad. All right. Not enough. All right. Let me know. That might be upgraded later. It's actually not bad. That's actually like really nice. But yeah, no. You kind of really don't have much of an option. That costed me, I think, roughly 100,000 gold. Just under that, by the way. I add that to the pit of money that essentially kind of goes in there. So that's 3 million. That's another 3 million. So that's 6 million gold. And then let's kind of round out to like 7 million gold, right? That's 7 million gold. I have half that much right now. And I essentially also I may have essentially fed some of these ones to themselves at one point or another. Not including, by the way, that again weapons also very pricey. 45,000 to the next level. I have yet to do that one. I think leveling up these characters overall has been probably like also a little bit expensive as well. Which, by the way, it's not the biggest deal. However, when you multiply this by a couple characters, about 6 times because there's 6 different stages. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, about 5. Ooh, that kind of adds up, doesn't it? That's a little over 200,000 actually. That's probably closer to 300,000, right? So that's 60,000, 120,000, 200,000 just on these 4, 300,000 just on level 5, right? And then it's 420,000 per character. Now I have a lot of level 80s, right? So it's 80, 80, 80 that. That's not including, by the way, that I also have to level them up, which let's check about Citlali. How much do you take? Oh, that's rough, bud. 134,000. That's what? That's another like 200, 300,000 just in gold because I had to do this one twice because level 60 to 60 to like 70, about 200,000 gold. No. Man, I'm sorry if you're out of luck. I'm sorry if you're out of gold, buddy. It should have done those entry quests. I think you should have cleared out the map for like another like what 100,000 gold. Nah. It's especially bad if it all kind of compresses together, and like you either convert stuff to gold, and it's not even that much fucking gold, mind you, by the way. Like I farmed some of those stages during like when I was like really getting gold, and I just wasn't sure what the fuck to do with like my stamina. I farmed that because you really don't get that much. It's only 60,000 gold per run, right? So that's 20 of the stamina. You need 40 stamina for 120,000 gold. That means that to farm one character, uh, just on the rank ups, not the levels, by the way, just on the fucking rank ups, is going to take you, what, like, let's assume 4 times 4, 160 stamina, so that's days for the stamina basically gone. Yeah, if we do that math, it's how much is it, like, let's say it's 420,000, right? It's 420,000 gold, how much you need to level them up, to rank them up, not even level them, but rank them up. Divided by 60,000, you need to do that 7 times. So that means you need to consume 140 stamina to rank up one character. So that's a day gone. So that's a day gone. Multiply that by 4, maybe 5 characters because I've been, you want to test them. So that's 5 days gone. 5 days of stamina gone. Now, again, there are multiple ways to do stamina. There are multiple ways to give you rewards. You're not having this much of an issue towards late game. However, as somebody that is trying to get to like the stages of the game, um, I don't really care so much about min maxing stuff. I'm just trying to level the characters. Literally, just on trying to level the fucking characters. I'm ranking up. Like, I'll tell you something, right? This is meaningless to me. This adventure rank means absolutely nothing to me. This is risen on its own, and the only reason I cleared up certain tiers is so I would get more stuff, so I can max the rest of my characters, so I can get more stuff. And again, it's a bit of a loop. It's a bit one of those things that like we've gone back and forth, and I lose my shit because of it. Because sometimes, again, they drop mini games where you have to you have to like randomly drop your attention for like maybe like a day, maybe like a couple hours. Mind you, it takes me like what, like a minute or so to clear some of these things. It's not bad. Using up the stamina is really whatever. But what ends up happening, issue-wise to me, which did we finally get the rewards? Did we get like did we get the mail? No, where's my mail? Where's my free 20 pulls? Are we supposed to get like the rewards today? Or is that tomorrow? That might be tomorrow. I thought we were supposed to get this character out for free as well. And this is, by the way, this is also like the biggest pile of shit I saw, by the way, as well. This is not necessarily bad characters per se. Um, um, these two I think are, in my opinion, because I think they're out of date. Chi-Chi definitely kind of is. Ganyu kind of mid at this point. Kaching, most people probably have her one or another. Baiju, I don't know. He's a Dender character. People can tell me or not. I believe he's a Dender character. He's definitely a Dender character. Yeah, he's a Dender character. So he's never going to go out of date because Dendro stuff is like OP or whatever. You can move on. Oh, and by the way, do 4-star characters go into this banner that are old? So we have the hit Tainari, which again, these are two of the oldest characters that you can actually have that are new. Everything else can kind of eat shit, realistically. We still have Jean, Chi-Chi, Diluc, Mona, and Kaching. Again, some of the best characters in the game, right, guys? Right? I think Diluc and Gene are kind of like this point super out of date. There's really nobody like in this, like again the starter banner was pretty ass actually, and like if we go play like okay so or like again best thing you can actually kind of praise them for is that the 4 stars are here. Uh, and again, much bigger like 4 star variety here. Yeah, Kachina, Sethos, Gaming, Chebros, Charlotte, and again, this banner is really bad at this point. And again, I think Wuthering Waves banner is not necessarily any better slot. However, the fact that we only have 3 characters that are at this point really out of date. Actually, no, I would say 5. Actually, I'd be so damn like on the dot to say that these 5 characters are out of date to this point. We have Tainari and Dead here, kind of the only maybe usable characters. Again, really funny to me that there's no Liu characters in that banner, like other than Kachina. Actually, let me double check because again, they're dropping these characters. This one is just in your nightmares. I don't know who would summon in this. Ganyu is fine. Kaching again in your nightmares. She's still around. She's decent. Okay. Most people want these guys. It's whatever. I still can't believe people should want your Tarkali. However, I will say this. I still can't believe it, but even my sister wanted him. She got him. It's whatever. Now, the fact that this exists to me is kind of impressive. I did actually see something very nice, apparently, from this banner. So they actually carried over the Chronicle Wish banners, which are fine. Now, again, my main complaint in this entire level is that this is now the standard, and having 2 characters is now the standard as well. The problem now in there lies trying to max and play around with any character is bashed on inherently because of the way the game is. Now, again, let me actually double check something because I've been kind of like recording for quite a while. Yeah, this is going to be a relatively long video. Again, feel free to watch it if you're what it is. I didn't necessarily mean to kind of like go super kind of in depth on this, but it just I wanted to make this video for quite a while. It is going to be however long it is. I don't really care too much about it. But how long it is, I mean. Because I've been playing it, and it's like, you're almost there, man. Like, give me the fucking... Like, Sentinel Zone Zero has the stamina figured out. Like, the stamina system on Sentinel Zone Zero, I like that system. Please pass it over. I fucking despise how much little stamina I have in this one. And again, I don't really play so often. I just like, but it is detrimental, right? And in Sentinel Zone Zero, I have stamina to come back to if I want to max out characters, if I want to test out certain things. I have the stamina to do that after I come back, obviously. Like, I'll tell you something. I have reached 1,000 stamina on my account before, on Zone Zero. This has been at 1,000, including, by the way, 2,400 on my account. That is the most amount of stamina you can have. It's not obviously efficient. I don't care. It's nice to have stamina to play around with because, again, I don't always want to be farming. I really don't, and it takes so much fucking time, and it takes already so much time, right? It takes like minutes, like literal, like actually not even minutes. It takes fucking a lot of time, dude. It takes like close to hours for some of the stuff to kind of play around with. I finished up the Citlali quest, and like I finished up your Chronicles, right? I finished up your Chronicles, and I finished the Mavuika, Mavuika quest. I spent nearly 6 hours. I spent nearly Fucking 6 hours between those two. Let's see. Hold on. I can't remember what it is. Is it here? Let's see. Quest. Yes, I think it's sorry quest right here. So I completed the Mavuika quest. So whatever. Again, these three I finished. I don't really care about these ones so much. It's not showing up in there. I don't know why. Let me see. Let me see. Was it actually time limited, as it said? That is weird. Okay, was that a quest actually time limited? Travel log. Okay, no, here it is. There it is. So, yeah, Trulia, chapter 1, act 1. So I finished this one. I finished this entire quest. That by itself took 3 hours of randomly really shitty dialogue. By the way, if I should show you through this, right? So you have these characters talking, and actually, let's see if we can actually go through. If we can actually find. Let's see, because Master of the Nightwind, Kachina, Aja. So let's see what Kanich says, right? Oh, right, hold on. Some of the voice lines are kind of messed up because I actually turned off the audio effects on these ones. Let's see.
Paimon coming in.
Oh God, please no. I didn't make that a thing, but hold on. But let's see, right? So we have this one. We're gonna go through this here. We're gonna just to kind of show you that I'm like, it's really like it takes you out of the story like so much, right? So we go here. Gotta see Kanich. Oh.
Oh no! Oh no!
So, as you can tell, there's a few lines that are missing, right? We have Mavuika here.
Yes, that's him. The first Pyro Archon.
But, again, you can probably listen to these once they're actually ready. But the problem now in there lies that you can probably go watch this. It'll be fine. It's whatever. But again, you end up running into the same issue that I had before. Where, yeah, let's say it. Where you can read the story, you can watch it, but it's not the same. It really isn't. They kind of just give you the voice lines and whatever, and you kind of move on. But again, it's an incomplete product. It's what kind of also doesn't help, right? Upon like again, as a normal person playing, you kind of want to just experience the whole game. Again, I'm afraid to play, so I'm like, again, I'm leeching off the whales. It's I don't really care. Unless I'm not spending money, I'm not necessarily want to play. However, if that is some of my returning impressions, half the dialogue is not really there. And let's be nice, right? Let's a quarter of the dialogue. It absolutely takes me out of the story when you're at the end of you're at the end game. You're watching a cinematic, and you hear half the roster, half the characters, not speak a word. Again, cool cinematics. Maybe I should have listened to it in Japanese. I don't know. It's really, 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 really wild. Um, but it kind of drives it to me, right? Um, again, um, most people will never really play this game. Most people will kind of throw this game to the back of their consciousness, kind of remembering there's this game called Genshin Impact. It is a gacha game that kind of uh, was important. It was like played by in the pandemic. It is very high out there. People will play it. People enjoy it. There are multiple places that people can enjoy it. Multiple reasons why people can enjoy it. Again, maybe you grew up with it. It's been out for over 4 years, closing into 5 at this point. This is an investment. This of your time. It is not so much an investment of your money, right? You're not getting the money back. It is an investment of learning to become a person. It is an investment of perhaps just understanding how Gacha games are, and perhaps not falling prey to them. Is what kind of like this can kind of show you. It's not a bad game per se. It really isn't. Like the core gameplay, the core mechanics are there. They're not bad. They're not like bad at all. Like I think the game is fine. Again, it kind of drags me into this loop, into this like again this like endless loop of farming and playing and farming and playing and trying to get better and trying to not be shit at the game. I'm always trying to run after my own tail, right? Where I'm trying to like be good at the game. And I'm good at the game. I'm gonna straight up say it. I'm good at the game. I can get away with certain things I shouldn't be. I think it's if you know enough game mechanics, you can kind of get away with a lot of bullshit. However, I'll tell you something. Me being good at the game does not mean I actually use everything that comes from the game. Right, so let me show you specifically. I can understand the game mechanic. I can actually put it into practice. Now, even understanding 1% of this does not actually mean that you're good at the game. Perhaps you play it really well. Maybe you could have been maxed, maybe you could have done something better. Realistically, take for example, right? One of the main things that I actually did see some people bring up is when you're playing the game, you kind of run out of stamina, right? So whenever you dash, you kind of run out of stamina. I personally only really have that issue specifically, and really I mean specifically, if you've like taken like some really bullshit hits from the game, and that happens in some occasions, right? So I know there's like a boss specifically to do with. I think it's in the unit. Oh my, there's some people using it. Hold on. All right, so on the stage, and pardon me for like cutting that out. I have my computer making weird noises whenever it kind of hits. Whenever I accidentally hit it, it does that. But setting this aside, there is this boss specifically and it's not in the use actually in the cinema. So this boss shoots rockets at you. The perpetual mechanical rate. So this boss, I don't really want to fight it right now because it's like relatively far away and I really don't want to move from where I'm at. And I have to do some dailies after this, so you know, whatever. The wage slaves, I think is what they call them these ones. Do I have enough for the? No, I actually have to go farm the. In order for me to consume this, I need to go farm the crystal cores again. Oh, this kind of brings up another fucking issue with it. So, Wuthering Waves, HSR, and CCZ figured this out. Now, a small little question, right? What is the point on having me farm the material that I need to be able to farm? Other than adding more bullshit gameplay. Because it's not hard. It's not hard, it's just randomly BS. Let's take this right now, right? So we're gonna go here. Oh, that's not here. Not here. In this game, in order for you to double up on farming, right? Something in Wuthering Waves you can naturally do by clicking twice, or by clicking the use 2 times the stamina button. Again, it's like a very simplistic system, right?
Rise with the sun.
Right, so you have to essentially, right? Click that. You have to collect them.
Full throttle.
Oh, clicking buttons. I'm in the middle of the darkness, so it kind of makes sense why I can see shit. But you have to go farm that. You have to collect that. Do whatever. Move on. It's easier. Again, it's easier for me to do that on PC because on controller it is like multiple clicks, and sometimes they don't necessarily register. Again, this is with wireless controller, by the way, which again still better controls. Or really can suck my dick. I think PS5 is inferior, like controls wise, especially to like the PC controls, right? So you do this one, then you claim your stamina. You have to do that 5 times a day. The reason you kind of consume this is because, again, you need this to be able to double up the staff. I don't know why. Generally, I don't. Yeah, I generally just don't understand what. At least maybe make it 10. Fuck me, man. Like 10, 10 being a limit would be like that's enough for me to feel like I farmed enough. But like 5 times, this doesn't feel like enough. Oh, and man, this one's some of the better. This one's some of the better shit, right? Each stage takes different stamina. That I get. Now, my qualms is that I can't use the little the little resin shit, the condensed resin that I made, right? I can use a condensed resin to claim this. Now, I personally would not mind at all consuming two more of these ones, right? Two of these ones, right? To level up. Two or like hell, I don't like the ratio, right? Is the ratio is correct? I don't mind doing the ratio twice, but no, I can't do that on this. Um, and it's really weird because again, the weekly bosses, those are an entirely different issue, right? Those ones have like a discount on them, right? So you kind of can't really do those ones. Let's see, transformations. This one specifically. This one specifically have a whatchamacallit, have like a discount on them. So these I understand why you can't even do this one. But even then, again, it's so funny to me that you can still only do 3 of those. I think. Or is it only can you do 3 of those, or is it like 3 of them are discounted? I think it's 3 of them are only at a discount. Yeah, 3 of them are at a discount. You have to do them all if you want to be able to get a chance at maybe Lazarite or maybe like about Dream Solvent. Dream Solvent is like really important, and there's even like the crazier part that like the billets for weapons. Oh man, you don't even understand half my fucking issue with these goddamn pieces of shit. Holy shit. These things being kind of like locked behind this shit is so annoying. And again, it's not the craziest part, but they are. These are unobtainable, man. Like I think I looked at the stats on this. I have no idea what it is, but like you have like a one. I think it's like actually, I'll explicitly use Dream Soul. So it's like a 50% chance you're not gonna get this. Again, not an issue. I get it. These ones are kind of to convert everything. Now the problem with this ones is that you need like fucking 5 of these things to make a weapon better. Which again, got no issue with this one. Which, by the way, you can only do like, is it like once a week or something? You can only do this one once a fucking week anyway. It doesn't really fucking matter. Ah, yes, you can. There's like a 50% chance of failing this. I'm like, cool. How many times can I do this? Once a week. Pardon? I can only do this once a week. I'm like, Oh, why? Fuck these things. Fuck these things. I don't need these things. Like, I need this, like 20 of these things. Like, what? Like, I need these things. I can't, and I can't. And I really can't even bother. And again, not the craziest shit in the planet. Again, Wuthering Waves has that like limitation on it. However, the limitation on it comes with a bit of a caveat. You get about 4 of those Renka materials. You need a lot of those, granted, but you get 4 of those, or 3 or 4, I think, maybe even more. I never really had an issue. Kind of locked in what click thing. It's not the biggest end all be all. I'm playing it very leisurely. I'm just kind of logging in, kicking ass, moving back, playing other games. You know, is what it is. At this point, by the way, I've already done every other day in existence. By the way, I have 8 games I'm playing, 8 gachas, and mind you, when this is recorded again, it's almost time for me to like have completed this like 2 hours ago. This is a long video, and I do apologize, but also I'm not sorry for making this as long as it is. This is my overall experience of the game. Many different issues, many different things. I have been holding this in for what feels like, not what feels, has been months. Not only that, by the way, there has been like a level of shame that I've had with like really showcasing how bad it feels to really play the game, because I have genuinely feel like I got scammed out of my time. Ain't that crazy? Like Wuthering Waves, I log in kind of like if I'm feeling like I kind of shit at the game, I need to like have some rest time. Like, what I kind of have considered is like, if you've ever seen the game of the anime World Tour, there's a character that falls asleep, wakes up, and does everything perfect, does everything like better after falling asleep. That is what it feels like to play Wuthering Waves. You're shit at the game, you fall asleep, you wake up, and you're better. And that's because your brain had enough time to kind of be better. Now, for Genshin Impact, what you end up having to do with is what I consider FOMO upgrade. I call this the FOMO, the fear of missing out on your upgrades. And it's bad. It is bad, and I would like to not have that, because I just want to play this fucking game, man. Like it is genuinely like upsetting to not be able to use these guys as I want them to, because like maybe like want to swap out this character to this one, or maybe want to use something else. Again, everything comes with time. However, 3 to 4 months of time is crazy levels of investment. 3 to 4 times, and I feel like I'm so shit. Like, actually, let me be specific. I'm good at the game. I feel like I'm shit. How do I put it? So I'm good at the game, but I have shit characters. That feels right. I'm good at the game, but I have shit characters. That's like the only way to really put it. And again, if you've watched this long, this is kind of where I'm gonna end it. If there's one thing you probably can learn, is that the story is good. If you're gonna invest in a new character, don't invest too much time and take it leisurely. If you're gonna spend money, careful. I would only suggest it if you're gonna really invest on it, and I mean like 180 pulls kind of thing. Because otherwise, this game does not guarantee you jack shit. But yeah, let's see. So I guess some of the more efficient, quote unquote, things in the game is the Blessing of the Welcome Moon is really some of the best stuff. But let's see. So we have this. We have Christian's level. Let's see. So yeah, this is kind of equally thing. So you get like for $100, you get like 40 pulls, and then you get like your first bonus. We're actually going to ignore the bonus. Like again, 6,400 crystals. You need what? Um, let's assume you need 180 pulls. Because I think people like I mentioned like 160. No, it's 100. It's 100 and it's 180. Statistically speaking, they only guarantee it at night. You will get it early, and most likely than not, you will get it early. However, I got Xilonen at 83. I don't like. I don't. I'm gonna tell you the like actual mathematics for it. 90 pulls is what you need for guaranteed. We're not gamblers here. We're mathematicians. We're people that like statistics. I don't fuck with statistics. I only work with exacts. There's none of these. There's like a certain percent chance of you getting this character. I don't care. If you're gonna be realistic with me, the only way to really play this game as you should as a consumer, as somebody that plays this game explicitly and explicitly for like long periods of times, you should know the reality of it, and you're not guaranteed anything until you're at 180. So, at the very least, if you're planning on playing this game, realize that 180 pulls is how much you actually need. So, let's take it out the most efficient way possible, right? I don't care if you're going to overspend. We're going to take it from the most obvious way that most people would like. If you're going to spend this much money, that's my recommended way, because that is realistically the only statistical way that I will be happy with, right? So 6,400 is 40 pulls, right? 6,400 Genesis crystals. If you've never spent money, you're always going to have a high efficiency. However, my assumption is if you're playing this game long term, you already bought the Genesis crystal pack. Maybe this is like a couple of months down the line where you're like, hey, there's this new character out that I want. My goal is to get this one C1. By the way, we're not talking C6, like C whatever. That costs a couple $1,000. I don't even want to talk about that shit at all. So it's 6,400. That's for $100, right? So that is equivalent to about 4 pulls. So 6,400 is 10 pulls. What we need is 180 pulls. So 180 is 1,600. 180 pulls is 1,600 Primos or Genesis crystals. Then we're going to divide 288,000 Genesis crystals divided by 6,480. That is kind of a lot more than I thought. Holy shit. Is that right? 180 pulls is like... Oh, I guess not. 180 pulls is... Right, so 180 pulls is... Plus by 1,600. Oh, that is 288,000 Primos. That's a lot of money. Holy shit. No, wait. That's 180 pulls. Each one is 160. That's 28,000 Primos. Holy shit, I was doing the math wrong. That makes more sense. That was a lot of money. That is like some significantly like wrong thing. That is like 10x. Yeah. Okay. So 28,800 is how much it is, right? So it's 28,800 Genesis crystals. Then you divide that by 6,480. That means you need 4.4 or 5. Let's run to 5 to have them the most efficient. Because obviously, if you're going to be spending more money on this, you're obviously going to go 1 for that one. However, if you want the kind of like 4.4 or whatever, that's a different issue. That's a different issue. That's not for me to really care about. Realistically, probably the way you're gonna go about it is probably like a couple of these ones, maybe like 2 to 3 of these ones, or maybe 2, and then you buy this one. Right. So I had no information because I've never spent money. Again, always have this like that. So it's approximately like, let's see, right? So it is 5 times. So it's 5 times 99.99. So it's about $500 for a guaranteed character. Now, again, statistics may be for you, maybe against you. It is what it is. it may end up being less, but for your first Z0 character, it is about $500. That's assuming you do everything efficiently and without really making your brain explode. It's about $500, assuming you don't get lucky in like the first couple of times. Again, statistics may change. You may end up only spending about maybe like half the amount, so maybe like $200, $300, give or take. Again, mathematics are kind of for you realistically. The reason I'm doing like the 180 is because that is math. There is none of the there is the exact numbers is pretty simplistic. There is none of the well, maybe if you get the pity, you might get the character. I'm like, yeah, after two fucking rotations. After two fucking rotations, we're getting lucky early on. You get the character. Like again, this means absolutely like there's a 50% chance that you're getting a character. Cool enough. Let's check the actual math for it. For Event Wish, guaranteed to win a 5-star at least once per 90 attempts. 90 pulls. So 5-star does not explicitly mean you get the character you want. The first time you win a 5-star in this event, there's a 50% chance, excluding the capture ratings, it will be the promotional characters. Now, as you may tell, there's like a couple of things. Again, capturing radiance is pretty good, especially after you lose 3 times in a row, which is what I did before. 3 times back to back, like 50-50. So after a while, it's just like back to back, 3 back to back 50-50s that I lost. Obviously, they're not directly back to back. There's like win a character, lose 50-50, win a character, lose 50-50 again, and then win a 50-50. Then when ends up being like 65-45 or whatever. But setting that aside, right? So we have a 50% chance of you getting a character. So in order to mathematically make this 100%, that means you have to double the odds, and not because of this thing, but because it explicitly tells you right here. Where is it? If the first 5-star character you win in this game is not the promotional character, then the next 5-star you win is guaranteed to be the next promotional character. So to me, what this means is that the first 90 pulls are worthless. They are bound to be worthless with a 50% chance of winning. If somebody told me you have a 50% chance of staying alive if you view a drop of the coin, if you flip a coin and there's a chance of you staying alive or not, would you take that game? Because it is a game. Again, this is pretty written and shown. I think Wuthering Waves has some slightly better odds, I think, at this point. Consolidated probability, I think Wuthering Waves is like 1.8, I think, at this point. It is slightly better. I still prefer, like, whatchamacallit. I prefer, to this day, whatchamacallit, Nikkei's mileage system, because you can kind of save it up for a different day. In case you get it early by chance. Again, pretty decent. It's not like the end-all be-all, but it is something that you can kind of move on from at that point. But anyway, that has been kind of like a mixture of gambles, different rants, statistics, and like something that I think people kind of forget about. I think at this point, because the game has been out for so long, and I don't really see people talking about it like whatsoever at this point. And again, as somebody that invests like many hours of playing these games, I understand the guaranteed system is kind of bullshit.
Instead of confining themselves to the heavens, God should broaden their horizon.
About Mavuika. For a second at least. So again, you kind of end up. I kind of end up following him, like again, like a little bit of a backpedal. The reason I kind of keep saying this is because I just don't want people to spend money on like stuff like this. Sometimes you could feel free to. I'm not your dad, like, but man, like at times some of these things tend to feel like really bad. Like Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I don't want people to spend their money without knowing the odds. Because most people at this point, you kind of getting like on and on, like on and on, and you kind of spend like you go months and months down the line, and I think it's like you're kind of like you kind of just get used to it, that you kind of forget how much money you're spending on some of this stuff. It's not so much of an issue, I think, at this one, because I think people are kind of becoming aware of it, but it is generally something scary how much like even myself, like I'm spending like a lot of time on it because I kind of want to do content on it, and I kind of somewhat enjoy the game, but man, it like really kind of just eats up at you, like in many different ways. But I think that's where I'm gonna end it. Let me know what your thoughts are. This is a really fucking long video, and I'm not sorry that it was long. I am sorry that if you realistically, I'm only sorry if you didn't learn anything. If anything, it was just kind of like a video I wanted to kind of drop in there, kind of showcase my hours that I spent on this game. Will I be making some more content on this? Possibly. I'm not sure quite yet. I'm pretty tired at this point, but setting that aside, it was definitely relatively long of a gap, but this one was definitely more coherent. More coherent than the shit I did before. So
Many insects
oh,
have a
hopefully.
compulsion to follow the light, and humans are the same.
Damn. That is a weird line, Mavuika. So we're comparing synths. That's crazy. I'm sorry. That line that's actually kind of crazy for line to pull. But yeah, no. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this. Again, biggest thing that I will always be like a promoter of is intelligent spending. Also telling you that you don't have to listen to a thing I have to say. Realistically, that's kind of what it's going to be. You don't have to listen to a thing we say. I say, like, again, I'm just a mixture provider. It's somebody that will rant to his life ends because it is something I enjoy. It is something I've been spending time on. So you know, I want to have for second thing I want to have something to show for it. And again, this was a relatively long video. You do not have to watch this. And if you got to if you kind of want to forward and skip it, thanks for skipping here. You made it here. Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for watching. And if you didn't, thanks for reading. I know you probably read because I will have a description on this. I typically do. I don't know when I'll be uploading this, but it'll be sometime soon. This one, I'm actually quite happy with the video so far, but relatively long. Well, not relatively. It's fucking long as shit. I guess second thing is, if you're like a content creator, feel free to react to this. You can cut it up, skim through this, whatever. I don't care. But yeah, no. Thanks for watching. Again, again, I've been doing this for the past 3 or 4 months. I wanted to have something to show for it, and this is kind of where it ended up being. Again, in the past ones, I did them, and I essentially pulled on the banner, and it definitely felt like I was promoting something, and it didn't feel right. It did not feel right. Again, to be completely blank with you, about my characters, this is the kind of the last bit of things, right? I pulled Mavuika approximately with 83 pulls. I lost my first, I think it might have been closer to 30 thing this weekend, but I think it's 20. I lost it to Gene of 50-50. And then I got Mavuika after 63 pulls. Then I moved on and I got Citlali around 30 to 40 pulls in. And I kind of won the Capping Radiance, which is kind of nice. But again, that was pure luck. I got lucky, and I do not want people to kind of have man, marriage is something right now. No, don't. I'm trying to teach you something. Not something very good, but something. But anyway, that's been it for y'all. This was a longest rant. Thanks for watching, and stay solid. And if you want to, again, this is a complete feel free to post any comments, any of your experiences, anything you feel like it. I will try and comment to it. And again, for my consistent watchers, for those of you that are kind of watching, again, recently we have hit for 100 subscribers, and thank you very much for that. I know with ranting and stuff, but again, thank you for watching, and hopefully stay solid. Bye bye. Oh, I'm not your dad, so do what you want. No, that's okay. Bye bye.